G'day folks, Sapper here with another World of Warships video. I have to be honest, grinding up a ship line is actually my favourite thing to do in game. And more than anything else, I'd just kick back and enjoy the ride. However, I know not everyone enjoys the game like I do, and that's okay. There are quite a few things that you can do to optimise and improve your grinding experience. So I've thrown a few together. Here are my top 10 tips for grinding up a tech line. Number 10. Scenario mode is a great backup plan. Tier 6 and Tier 7 can suffer from some of the worst matchmaking in the game, frequently being bottom tier. An easy way to circumvent this is to play operations in scenario mode. Ops give better rewards than co-op, and if you are someone who averages up to a 50% win rate in randoms, the same or better rewards as randoms over a spread of games. The two most annoying things about ops is that there currently aren't options outside tiers 6 and 7, and that many missions and campaign tasks don't support ops. So if you're working on a few of these, make sure you check before you start out. Despite that, scenarios are still some of the best value for time propositions for grinding. If you're interested in the potential for operations, I have a theory crafting video on it about some changes that Wargaming could make to improve the experience. Link will be pinned down in the comments. Number 9. Don't worry about paying to retrain captains until higher tiers. If you pay to retrain at each tier as you go up a line, you will be out of pocket a lot of doubloons or Elite Commander XP. A good rule of thumb is to only worry about it on some ships from Tier 7 and most ships from Tier 8. At Tier 7 you will start getting really rough matchups against Tier 9s, so it makes sense to start with a decent captain. There is also a decent argument to be made for destroyers to be an exception, given how reliant they are on Concealment Expert, but I leave that up to you. This leads into Number 8. Use premium ships for easy captain training. A great way to get a head start with your captain is to spend a chunk of games with them in a premium ship to train them up. You don't even need a similar type premium anymore to share a spec. You can have a different type of ship as long as it's from the same nation. This is because each captain has a spec for each ship type. If you don't have comfortable high tier premiums, fall back on number 10 and smash some ops for easy mode training. Number 7. Don't skip ships. Each ship teaches you something, even if it's just patience. This is probably the tip that the largest number of players will disagree with, so let me explain why. Ship lines are designed to have some commonality between successive ships. These similarities mean that as you progress to the next ship, the jump isn't completely alien. Most ships also introduce new things or tweak existing ones that link to ships higher in the line. Because of this, even really bad ships should be played to learn the things that you need to know for higher tiers. It's also worth considering that if you can learn to make these poor ships work, the better ships further on in the line will be even better, as you will be a better player when you get to them. Number 6. Know which upgrades are worth your credits. I will note here I mean upgrades, not modules. Upgrades are the things that can be selected in these slots. Upgrades improve your ship in a range of ways, but the costs in credits can really stack up. Generally, the two big slots to prioritise are Slot 3 and Slot 5. Slot 3 has access to the aiming systems, torpedo, and for US Navy battleships, artillery plotting upgrades. Slot 3 is available from Tier 5. Slot 5 has access to the concealment upgrade, and is available on most ships from Tier 8. Having said all this, each ship is different and not all ships will need an upgrade. For example, the US Navy battleship Colorado at Tier 7. As a US Navy battleship, she has access to artillery plotting in Slot 3 instead of aiming systems. You can run this, or alternatively, you can run a turret traverse upgrade. But the thing with Colorado is her range is pretty good, and her turret traverse, while average, isn't entirely dysfunctional. Subsequently, if you are tight on credits, you can easily not put an upgrade in slot 3, and you can always fall back on spotter aircraft if you need a bit of extra range. Number 5. Learn your ship's priority modules. You always want to check out the improvements for each of your modules. Hull is usually the first choice, but range, torpedoes, or propulsion can be important on some ships. You don't want to rush to unlock and purchase modules that can be a waste. On many battleships, it can be more important to get the improved range or hull module over propulsion. While the extra 3 or 4 knots will feel better, you'll get much more combat value out of a bit of reach, health, or rudder shift. Similar can be said for torpedo modules. Generally, on cruisers it should be your last choice. However, on a torpedo destroyer, it may be your first choice, or at worst, second after hull. And if you want 1 or 2 of these modules immediately, number 4. Save free XP for key modules. Don't use it to unlock ships. A stock grind is the absolute worst, but ships that are difficult to play can teach you things. I almost always use free XP to upgrade 1 and in some case 2 modules, as most stock ships have specs of a tier or tier and a half lower. This can mean that getting a new ship is a downgrade on performance, but at a higher tier bracket. The exception to this free XP rule is free XP premiums like Groningen and Azimuth. But if you want these ships, it's even more of a justification to keep free XP use to the minimum, being a key module or 2 here or there. Number 3. Use your daily first win bonus. Each day, every ship gets a new bonus for bonus XP for the first win. Most of the time it's plus 50%. However, during some special events and on some weekends, it can be plus 100 or even 200%. By using this win bonus every day on ships that you are grinding, you can effectively chip away at almost any grind over a week or so with a little skill or luck, particularly if you have some good camos and signals to stack on top. As a side note, if you've bought a premium ship, it will often come with a bonus XP mission for it. Stack the mission, camos, signals, and daily win bonus to efficiently farm commander or free XP. Number 2. Do your research. Before playing any ship, you should be examining its specs and noting key details, particularly changes to its predecessor, and if you have questions, looking up reviews on it. A good example are shifts from light cruisers to heavy cruisers, like with German cruisers Nürnberg to York. These 2 ships have very different gun calibers and hulls, which have a big impact on how fast their guns fire or how agile the ship is, as well as how much punishment it can take. Another example is changes in battleship calibers like Fuso to Nagato. Fuso can only overmatch Tier 5 battleships and some middle tier cruisers, whereas Nagato can overmatch all Tier 7 and below battleships, as well as almost all cruiser bow and stern armor in the game. This sort of thing then impacts your point of aim. Number 1. Focus one line or playstyle at a time. While it makes a lot of sense to try out different nation and ship types, and I do recommend this for those starting out or still learning the game, when you get down to the business of grinding out a line, focus on one line, and second to that, one style of play. If you are just playing the one line of ships to the exclusion of others, you will notice better and better results as you instinctively get used to things like shell travel time, AP or HE performance and when to switch, when to engage in certain WASD actions, or when to go dark. If you don't tend to survive most battles, pair your grind with a like premium ship, or failing that, a similar playstyle. For example, if you are grinding Japanese heavy cruisers, play a premium Yoko Sister or Otago in between your grinding ship's battles. Failing that, play a French or Royal Navy heavy cruiser for similar playstyle mechanics and shell use. The only major downside to this sort of focus is your skills in other ship types and niches can degrade a little bit. Personally, I think it's worth it if you want to grind as effectively as possible and to improve as a player. At the end of the day, it's much easier to relearn or dust off some rust on some old skills than it is to learn something from scratch. Before I wrap it up, I have one bonus tip that isn't just a grinding tip. Maintain a positive attitude. One of the most important things in a range of areas in any game is keeping a positive and constructive attitude. Simply put, if you are calm and positive, you will play better, make fewer mistakes, and improve quicker. If you are tilting, take a break, go play a different game, or refer back to number 10, go smash some scenarios. My top 10 tips for grinding. Scenario mode is a great backup plan. Don't worry about paying to retrain captains until higher tiers. Use premium ships for easy captain training. Don't skip ships. Each ship teaches you something, even if it's just patience. Know which upgrades are worth your credits. Learn your ship's priority modules. Save free XP for key modules. Use your first daily win bonus. Do your research. And focus one line or playstyle at a time. And for the bonus, maintain a positive attitude. What do you guys think? Is there something you'd add or swap around? Regardless, I hope you found this video useful, and if you haven't found something new, at least it's reminded you of a couple of things you forget to do when grinding. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you didn't like it, please comment and let me know. Thanks for watching, folks. Stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next one.